Airtake Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Starship Picard Season 2, Episode 4, and my thoughts on this episode. Was not a good episode. Canon breaking mistakes, stupid cast picks, and a scene literally copied from A Voyage Home. And there is a scene in this episode they just took from A Voyage Home, and it was terrible how they did it. Just absolutely terrible. Like, there is no need to put this scene in your show. There was just no need. And if you are going to do this, there are a ton of better ways than what you did. One plus I would say for the show is Patrick Stewart's acting seems to be improving. I mean, this could be before the whole COVID stuff happened, and I don't know, but his acting seems to be getting better. Is it as good as it used to be 5 years ago? No, but compared to the first two episodes, I will give Patrick Stewart credit that his acting has improved. The rest of the cast, you get what you get with this cast. That's pretty much it. I mean, not Raffi, Rios, I think he's a good actor. I don't really find anything wrong with him. But the rest of the cast, 7 and 9, yeah, listen, it's not great, but there you go. Running time, I mean, there were parts that dragged on a little. I did enjoy one part of this episode. I'll get into that in spoilers, but there were parts that dragged on. There were parts that got over quick. Oh, I completely forgot. They really hate ICE in this show. Like, they really do. Like, the immigration system in America, I'm not sure if they're telling the whole truth in this show, but even to me, it's like really over the top. Like, really over the fucking top. I mean, the hatred towards ICE. I mean, didn't ICE like save a bunch of kids from child traffickers? Like, they keep saying that ICE is this evil thing because it deports people, but they do good things too. Like, calling an organisation you don't agree with because of one part of it is a bit stupid, don't you think? Again, I got no dog in this fight. I'm not American. I don't really understand your immigration system. But I don't think they're a bunch of fucking Nazis, which is literally what they're trying to say they are in this show. I mean, there's a literal ICE character that you are really supposed to hate. And I ended up thinking, yeah, that's just over the fucking top. It's really over the top. But anyway. But let's get into the spoiler section. For me, this episode, it's a 1 out of 10. It's not great. Ton of mistakes. And again, the only plus I can give it is Patrick Stewart's acting is improved. So, the spoiler section. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. Right, so the episode starts off with Raffi and Seven making it to the hospital and trying to find Rios. They're then greeted by a nurse who just begins to slag off ICE. Again, really not liking the ICE people, are they? So she slags off ICE. Seven and Raffi then try to find out a way to... Well, no, the nurse then tells them if they want to find their friend, they have to go to the LAPD. So they decide to go there. By the way, big mistake in this episode. Why the fuck did they not grab the badge? Which is a big mistake. They don't grab the badge. They literally go to the fucking place to find Raffi and leave a bit of technology that is going to fuck up humanity's future. Again, that bit of technology is worth its weight in gold in that time. Yet they leave it behind. So they go off to find Rios, and then the scene just goes off to Picard trying to make contact with the group. but he can't, so him and Agnes decide to go to France to see Picard's winery field stuff. And this was a pretty boring scene. I will give him one plus. Another plus, that's surprising. They did explain Picard's accent and why his family seem to be more English than they are French. They explain it as, in the Second World War, they abandoned their winery and, went to England. And then he explains that when they went to England, it took 100 generations for them to come back to France to get their winery back. Now, this is a problem for me because, again, my dad is French, and I know that wineries don't just, don't get left like this, especially in France. Like, again, if you own a winery in France, you get a lot of money from it from the government. And if the Picards just abandoned it after the Second World War, they wouldn't have just abandoned it forever. This doesn't make sense. Like, why would they leave it, stay in England for 100 years, and nobody takes ownership of that land? Like, I think even the French government would have probably bought it off them. So, this scene doesn't make sense in certain ways. Like, anyway, so Picard gets to there. They start looking around. He starts having memories of his mother because they are really trying to show you this picture of Picard's mother is the one who pushed him to do all these amazing things. I mean, even though in the Next Generation he said jack shit about his parents, like, he always said that he wanted to go to Starfleet, he wanted to go look at the stars. I never heard him say his mother forced him to. Not forced him, but pushed him to. So, again, the wokeness is pretty much his mother is the one who pushed him into all this stuff, and it's all thanks to her we have Picard, which is ridiculous. Again, Picard has never been anything but, a space traveller, and his family are the ones who stayed on Earth. That was the point of it, So, I hate this storyline. I hate what they're trying to do with Picard and his mother. It's very unnecessary to me. So him and Agnes start having conversations about his life with his mum and his family. Picard explains his family history to Agnes, and Picard then figures out that Agnes has retained some of the Borg Queen's memories because she starts touching things that are 15 involved in it. Well, she keeps doing stuff with 15, and Picard realises that 15 is the date that they need to get to fix time. And so they only have 3 days to sort out time to save Starfleet and to save, the timelines. And so Picard and Agnes go back to the ship. Oh, I completely forgot the scene beforehand, before they left for the... There was another mistake, which was apparently the ship they are travelling in has a fucking cloaking device. So, let me get this straight. You have a fucking cloaking device and you're only just using it. You have been there for how many fucking days and you're only now using the fucking cloak? Wouldn't it have been a smart thing to put the cloak on when you were crashing to Earth so they fucking wouldn't see you? I mean, for fuck's sake, writers, it is not difficult to fucking do this. You didn't have to have the ship crashing on Earth. You could have just had a scene of them landing on Earth with a cloak, which wouldn't have been stupid. Having them crash on Earth and only now putting the cloak on is just fucking stupid. I mean, for fuck's sake. How can you fuck this up? Like, really? So after Agnes and Picard head back to the ship, we then go to the next scene, which is Raffi and Seven on a San Francisco bus. And this is the scene they steal, that's right, they steal from A Voyage Home, which is the punk rocker singing that stupid I Hate You song. And it is just cringe as fuck. Like, you could have put a modern spin on it. Maybe he had an iPhone and he was playing the song. Or, you know, like an iPad or anything. You literally have him having a fucking tape box. I don't know what you fucking call them, sorry. But you have him having that tape box. He looks like a punk rocker in 2024. Okay, I know a lot of people look fucking stupid these days. But come on. You had to go that far with it? I mean, this scene is a literal copy from the fucking movie, and they just did it in the worst way. Because all Seven does to stop the guy playing the music is just tell him to turn it off. And he does, and he acts like a right bitch about it. He's a punk rocker who's a bitch. Like, what the fuck? It's just done in the worst way. Do you know why the Voyage Home version is better? Because of what fucking Spark does. He does the Vulcan nerve pinch on the guy and he collapses down and gets a round of applause, which was actually fucking funny. This scene was fucking shit. Unbelievably shit. And then Raffi starts talking to Seven about she should have stayed in the past. Yeah, with the Nazis. Is that really what you'd want, love? Because she's worried that more people are going to die, and the Seven's got to remind her it's not her fault that Lego Boy died and that she needs to move the fuck on. Again, he's not dead, is he? He's going to come back. Can we just move the fuck on? So the next scene is Picard has to go find the Watcher. So he's decided to go back to... Well, he needs to find the Watcher, and he thinks he knows where she is. And he decides to go back to the bar where he met Guinan. Because apparently, Guinan is on Earth right now. So he beams there, and he meets up with Guinan, and she has the same dog as Picard. And again, the problem with this scene is... the biggest problem for me is, one, we've seen a young fucking Guinan. Because we had her in the fucking Next Generation episodes. We've seen a young version. This woman looks nothing like fucking Guinan. Again, I'm sorry, but not every black woman looks the same. And yet, they're going to call me the racist, even though they're trying to say that. Again, we have a young version of Guinan already. It's just absolutely stupid. And Picard's trying to get through to her and trying to find out if she is Guinan. Then he mentions where she's from, which is not what she's from, what race she is, which is she's a Lorian, and they're a listening species, and that pisses her off because she grabs a shotgun and points it at Picard. I want to get through the whole Guinan Picard stuff quick because it's a very long process. So the Guinan Picard stuff is basically Guinan threatens Picard with a shotgun, but Picard managed to convince her that he's a friend of hers. We then go through the whole fucking tropes of the fact she's losing her business. She then talks about all the woke politics, you know, the Earth is dying, racism, homelessness. She then starts saying the rich want to keep their stuff and they don't give it to the poor. And again, all the stuff she's talking about, aside from the environmental stuff, that's all democratic politics, right? You know, the tent cities and that's all Democrats, isn't it? I mean, I don't understand American politics. Again, we don't have tent cities in the UK. But all I know is they're all in democratic places. So you're bitching about politics, but you're trying to blame it on the right. And I'm not saying this show is trying to say it's the right, but it really is, isn't it? They really are. I mean, I can't really lie about that. I mean, this is bullshit. This whole scene between Guinan and Picard is literally them saying the world is terrible and humanity needs to fix itself. And Picard says the dumbest words, by the way, humanity's going to fix this. Okay, one problem, Picard. The eugenics wars are coming. You dumb fucking writers. The eugenics war. You know, when we start fucking enhancing humanity and then we get fucking people like Khan who become dictators and start taking over the fucking world, warlords, nuclear war. Like, Picard's trying to say this is all going to get better in her lifetime or in the few years. Like, humanity's going to go through a lot of bad stuff before they get to, you know, the Federation times. Like, that's why this show is so fucking dumb to point out all this politics. Because, guess what? It means jack shit. The environment question means jack shit. Because there's going to be a nuclear war in the future. There's going to be a nuclear war. There's going to be a eugenics war. It's insane. And that's why this show is not fucking smart. And that's why the writers are fucking stupid. Because they're trying to make a political point in Star Trek when the history of humanity has already been written. Yes, there's going to be terrible times ahead for humanity. But when Zephyrin Cochrane takes his first flight, that's when humanity changes. That's when humanity turns into the Federation. So all this shit they're doing in this show to say, make these political points, is just shitting on Star Trek canon. And it's a fucking joke. And that's the Guinan stuff. Okay, there is a scene between Agnes and the Borg Queen, but I couldn't really give a shit. The next scene is Rios in an ICE detention centre. And again, it's just cringe as fuck. Again, over the top bad guy who's the ICE officer. Rios makes a couple of jokes. The Spanish doctor woman, you know, him and they both have a little chat with each other, and that's their scene ends. Raffi gets put on a bus, immigration bus, and sent back to the border. Well, sent to the border of Mexico, and that's how his whole scene part of this episode is. That's all he does in this episode. Oh bloody hell! Raffi and Seven then go to an LA police department to try and find Rios. Raffi ends up having an argument with a policewoman, and Seven has to pull her back. A guy tells them they're not going to find their friend at the police department. They need to go somewhere else to find him. So Raffi and Seven leave the police station. They then decide to steal a police car because that is smart, because no police cars have tracking devices and internal cameras. Like, the British police have all this shit as well. Why would you nick a police car? They're going to find you. By the way, the police take really long to find them, even though they've just come up a police station. Nobody has decided to hop in a police car and chase them. It's absolutely dumb. And this whole scene between, you know, Raffi and Seven driving a police car and going crazy, and Agnes trying to, you know, beam them out of the police car, it's just dumb. But Raffi manages to hack into a computer, and she finds Raffi. They then get chased by a bunch of police cars, and then Agnes tells them to stop because she's made a deal with the Queen, which is not going to go bad at all, is it? I mean, you can trust the Borg fucking Queen. I mean, the deal she makes with the Borg Queen is ridiculous. Like, we're both lonely, so let's be lonely together. It's like, oh, it's going to end so badly, and it's just so stupid. Anyway, so Agnes tells them to stop because she's fixed the transporter, but she can't transport them while they're moving. So they stop the police car, get surrounded by police officers, and they then decide to beam out of the police car. Are you fucking stupid? Like, they have cameras. You have just beamed in front of people. This is going to get back to the authorities. A bunch of police officers are going to have to explain how two people disappeared. Like, they're already fucking up the future and they've only been there for a couple of days. So let's get this right. They've left a badge in a hospital and they've just beamed in front of people. This show is fucking stupid. You couldn't have driven round a corner and then beamed out, driven under a bridge, in a tunnel, anywhere not to be seen by people. You had to have a scene where they were surrounded by people and beamed out, and that's not going to fuck people up. It's stupid, and you can't just turn your brain off with every scene. You can't. Anyway, they beam out of the police car. They then find Ralphie. He's on the bus, and now they have to do something to try and stop the bus and get him free and, continue on with the mission. Guinan then takes Picard to see the Watcher. The Watcher turns up as a little girl. The little girl leads Picard to the Watcher. And, oh no, it was then a girl, then a guy. And then Picard meets the Watcher. And who do you think it is? Oh, it's the Romulan woman from his chateau from the future. And she turns out to be the Watcher in this show, which I can't give a fuck about, but apparently we do have to give a fuck about it. So yeah, she's the Watcher, and the Watcher takes Picard somewhere. We don't know where because the scene ends. And the last scene is Q, which again, can we see more of Q? I want to see more of Q. He is the most interesting character in this show and the most entertaining to watch. So Q starts talking about this woman who's reading a book. He starts saying some weird sentences, and then the scene ends with Q trying to click his fingers and his powers are not working, and that's how the episode ends. Actually interesting scene. I actually loved it, and seeing that Q might be losing his powers gives me more proof that I think Q is dying, which makes sense for him acting so erratically, because if he's dying, then maybe he's trying to give Picard some final lesson to stop him doing something. I don't really know what, but yeah, I think they are killing off Q. And if they do kill off Q, I am just going to be even more pissed off with this show. I am already pissed off, but I'll be just more pissed off. And that's how the episode ends. Annoying episode, bad episode, massive problems. This series is not going to get any better, unfortunately. But there you go. And that's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And do think about subscribing if you like my content. Elder Fan and Menace, long live CG, and fuck SJWs. Bye.